のラーズ・ウルリヒの独占インタビュー3週目に突入ですが、話題はすでに始まっているはずのノーリピートウィークエンド。世界各国で金曜と日曜のスタジアムを使って行う壮大なワールドツアーについても語ってくれてます。こちらをどうぞ。
今度のこのアルバムは光と闇っていうのはすごく大きなテーマになっていて、この3年間のやっぱパンデミックで世界中の人たちが感じていたことをメタリカが代弁してくれて出口を探してくれたという言い方もできると思うんですけど、その辺どうでしょうか。
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think the most important thing of all of it is to understand that you're never alone, and all of us in Metallica, and I think a very big part of us who come out of this musical movement, what brought us all together is that we were all loners, and that we all felt like we didn't belong to the mainstream and to the center of what was going on, and so all of us have our own versions at different levels. Obviously, some struggle more than others, but I think most of us have in common that we started out as loners, and so the best thing for me about being in a band is to be part of a big group, a gang, a team, a collective, whatever word you want to put to it. But I think as human beings, the concept of not being alone is one of the most fundamental important things. Human beings are herd animals, and we all, I think, do better when we're all together and we feel safe in the numbers, and so I think a big part of these conversations is to just remind everybody that we're not alone, and it's a great place to start a conversation where you can then connect to the different threads of conversation that is more specific to what your issues may or may not be.
アルバムリリース前に4曲のリードトラックがカットされるというのはメタリカ史上一番数が多いのかなと思うんですけども、これは今日的なメタリカの戦略の一つなんでしょうか。
Yes, we're trying to be modern. Releasing records in 2023 is certainly, like I've said before, the Wild West, and there's no playbook, so to say, like there was 10, 20, 30 years ago, where there was a very particular way. Excuse me, this is how you release a record, and this is how you do all that. Obviously with the internet, obviously with social media, obviously with all the different tools people have now to connect all over the world, and how do you roll a record out? There's no playbook for that, so to say, that's super specific. So you do the best you can, and Metallica now sort of has its own record company, and we work very closely, obviously, with our friends at Universal in Europe, but we're kind of steering the ship even more so than we have before, and you do the best you can. 3, 4 songs. I think the 4th one is this week. It's the title track, 72 Seasons, and the album's 2 weeks away. Feels good, feels right. The excitement, and again, when Masa and I talk 5 years from now about the next album, then there'll maybe be a different playbook in hand. But social media is such a big thing, and TikTok and Instagram, all the rest of it, and it's kind of fun to try new ways. Certain Metallica, like I've said a million times before, we always love to experiment with new ways of doing things. So that is always exciting. But I think we're just 2 weeks away now. 2 weeks and a couple of days away from this album coming out, and so it's been 4 months. 4 months since we announced it, maybe 5. So it's going to be exciting to get these songs out there, and we look forward to getting out there and playing these songs. Hopefully as soon as we can. What are we? 3 weeks away? 4? It's really 4 weeks away from the first concert. So it's coming up, imminent.
まあメタリカがレッツに新しい道を探してきた。そういう、ことで言えばアルバムのアートワークについても語っておいた方がいいんじゃないですか。色の具合とかデザインとか、これもやっぱり新しい感じじゃないですか。どうですか。
Well, thank you for asking. Once again, David Turner and Jamie and Ian, which is the same team that has been doing every Metallica thing, every Metallica release since Death Magnetic. So 15 years now. Death Magnetic, the Lulu albums, Through the Never, Hardwired, Quebec Magnetic, all the different things that we've been doing. They've designed the 5th member logo and the Orion logos and everything that we've been doing. So we went to that team again, and like we always do, it's a very exciting time. It's a very exciting part of the process as they interpret the songs, the music, the lyrics. All of them would go down to the studio and listen to the album a couple times and be inspired by that. And so you try to keep the process as organic as possible, and that everything that's coming up visually is born out of the music. So it's exciting. I think it's an awesome concept of the idea of the remnants of childhood left behind, but they're all battered and burned and disheveled and not in the best shape possible. And I think that it's a very potent visual companion to what the idea of the album overall lyrically is. So I think they nailed it great, and it feels like it's a very strong visual, and the colors and all that. So it's got its own visual language, which I love, and it's exciting to once again get that out there. And like I said, this team has been doing everything that Metallica has been doing for 15 years, so we know each other well. So it's very it's nice to again to recreate a new visual aesthetic with people that you know and trust. I think all the collaborations, with Greg Fiddleman and with David and his team and so on, are very much born in trust. And so when you collaborate with anybody creatively, when the trust is there, then you feel free to go wherever you can go, wherever your imagination takes you.
新しいことのもう一つがノーリピートウィークエンドだと思うんですけども、とんでもない企画ですよね。素晴らしい企画なんですが、ファンも喜びますけど、あれはもうメタリカ自身が楽しむためのツアー企画でもあったりするんじゃないかと思うんですが、その辺どうですか。
Thank you. Definitely exciting. Definitely a little crazy, but fun-spirited, of course, and a little overwhelming, to be honest with you. We're, like I said, about a month away from starting this in Amsterdam. The concept was born out of a gentleman named Danny Wimmer, who runs a series of festivals in America, and I guess about 4 years ago now, he came to us and asked us if we would play 6 or 8 of his festivals, and we would bookend the festival. We would play Friday and Sunday. Somebody else would play Saturday, and we would play Friday and Sunday, completely different sets. Bookend the festival. That sounded interesting, unique, and crazy cool. So we said yes, and we had 6, 7, maybe 8 of those scheduled for 2020. Then the pandemic and lockdown came, and obviously that all went away. By the time we circled into the fall of 21, the 21, we went out and did 3 of those, and it was fun. We survived it, and it felt like it connected with an audience, and again, for us, it was an opportunity to do kind of a blank canvas experiment of just starting completely over, which is always fun and appreciated in the Metallica camp. So when we were trying to figure out what to do for the next record, we thought this concept of going around the world and playing 2 nights in every city and doing this would be fun. So here we go. Amsterdam's a month away. No repeat weekend. We're not repeating any of the songs from one show to the other. So it seems like a really good idea. It's also obviously going to be a bigger undertaking, but I think it'll be fun, and I think the buzz is good. You know, I'm not sure these days, to be honest with you, if everybody really understands what it is we're doing. You know, I'm not sure we understand what it is we're doing, but I've heard myself talk about it now for a couple of weeks, and certainly everybody on our team is doing the best they can to get the message out there. It started off as 1 ticket for 2 shows, and then I think a month ago or so we let some single day tickets be available for people that couldn't make both shows. Obviously both shows, 2 shows is a big commitment for a lot of people. I understand that. So I don't know if the idea that if people go to a show on one day, if they understand that there may not be certain toe-tapping favorites, as they may be called, that they will not hear. I don't know if they fully understand that concept, and I don't know if it matters. At the end of the day, it's a fun experiment, and when you've been playing for as long as we have and playing as many shows as we have, I think it's important to keep coming up with new ideas to keep it, you know, fresh for the fans and fresh for yourselves. So hopefully this will connect. It's certainly exciting, and like I said, we're about 4 weeks away, so here we go.